Did you know that superheroes in the MCU have multiple versions of themselves? Yeah, they do, and our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man isn't left out. However, these versions of Spider-Man are evil, dark, twisted, and use their powers to cause chaos and destruction. In this video, we'll be listing the top 5 evil versions of Spider-Man. Let's get started. Number 5. Ghost Spider. Ghost Spider is the alter ego of Peter Parker, who, in this universe, was bitten by a radioactive spider that was infused with dark magic. The powers he gained from the spider were twisted, and instead of using them for good, Peter became consumed by the darkness that now lived inside him. He started using his powers to terrorize the city, striking fear into the hearts of the innocent. Unlike the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man whom we know and love, Ghost Spider is a ruthless and sadistic villain. He revels in causing chaos and destruction and is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He uses his superpowers to climb buildings and swing through the city, but he also can turn invisible, phase through objects, and summon demonic creatures to do his bidding. Ghost Spider's suit is a dark and menacing version of the classic Spider-Man costume. It's black and red, with glowing red eyes and sharp spider legs protruding from the back. The suit is made of a special material that allows Ghost Spider to turn invisible at will, making it nearly impossible to track him down. Despite his evil nature, Ghost Spider has a tragic backstory that makes him a sympathetic character in some ways. He lost his Uncle Ben at a young age, just like the original Spider-Man, but instead of learning the lesson of with great power comes great responsibility, he became bitter and resentful. He feels like the world owes him something, and he's determined to make everyone pay for his pain. Ghost Spider is a formidable foe for any hero, and he's been known to take on some of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. He's crossed paths with Daredevil, the Punisher, and even the Avengers, and he's always left a trail of destruction in his wake. Despite his power, however, Ghost Spider is not invincible. He is weak in holy objects and vulnerable to certain types of magic. This weakness has been exploited by heroes who have managed to defeat him in the past. Number 4. Patton Parnell. In an alternate universe, Peter Parker was not the only one bitten by a radioactive spider. Patton Parnell, a rival of Peter's at Oscorp, was also bitten and gained powers similar to those of Spider-Man. But unlike Peter, Patton used his powers for personal gain, becoming a notorious criminal known as the Arachnid. As the Arachnid, Patton wore a sleek black and red suit that covered his entire body, complete with sharp metal claws and web shooters that he had engineered himself. He became a master thief, using his spider-like abilities to infiltrate and steal from high-security locations easily. But as his crimes grew bolder, the Arachnid drew the attention of Spider-Man. The two engaged in numerous battles, each more intense than the last. The Arachnid proved to be a formidable opponent, using his speed, agility, and strength to stay one step ahead of Spider-Man at every turn. But what truly set the Arachnid apart was his ruthless nature. He showed no mercy to anyone who got in his way, and his disregard for human life made him one of the most dangerous villains in the Marvel Universe. He had no qualms about killing those who stood in his path, making him a formidable enemy to anyone who crossed him. Despite his criminal nature, the Arachnid had a loyal following of criminal cohorts who helped him carry out his schemes. His charisma and charm made him a natural leader, and his cunning plans often proved successful. He had even gained the loyalty of some former heroes who were seduced by his promises of wealth and power. But in the end, the Arachnid's downfall was his arrogance. He underestimated Spider-Man and his allies, believing that he was invincible. This led to a series of mistakes, ultimately leading to his capture and imprisonment. Number 3. Zombie Spider-Man. In this alternate universe, Peter Parker was infected with a virus that turned him into a flesh-eating monster. However, instead of losing his intelligence and powers like most zombies, Spider-Man retained his abilities and brilliant mind. This made him even more dangerous, as he was now a superpowered zombie with all of his memories intact. Zombie Spider-Man's appearance is ghastly, with his skin and costume decaying and covered in blood. His eyes are now yellow and his fangs protrude from his mouth, making him look more like a monster than a superhero. He moves with the same agility and speed as the original Spider-Man, but now with a terrifying hunger for human flesh. Despite being a zombie, Spider-Man's sense of responsibility remains intact. He is still committed to protecting the citizens of New York City, but now he does it by feeding on criminals and villains. He sees himself as a necessary evil, using his powers to rid the city of those he deems unworthy of living. While he may not be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man we know and love, Zombie Spider-Man is still a force to be reckoned with. He's incredibly strong and fast, and his spider sense is still as sharp as ever. He's also immune to most physical damage, making him nearly invincible. However, Zombie Spider-Man still has weaknesses. He still has a craving for brains and flesh, which can distract him from his mission of protecting the city. He's also vulnerable to certain types of magic which can be used against him by powerful sorcerers. Zombie Spider-Man has crossed paths with many heroes in the Marvel Universe, including the Avengers, the X-Men, and even the Punisher. His interactions with other characters are always tense as they struggle to come to terms with the fact that their beloved hero has become a monster. Number 2. Dark Spider-Man. In this evil rendition of Spider-Man, Peter Parker had a very different upbringing. He grew up in a world filled with darkness, where crime and corruption ran rampant. From a young age, Peter was forced to learn how to survive on the streets, and he quickly realized that the only way to get ahead was to break the rules. As he got older, Peter became increasingly disillusioned with the idea of justice. He saw the world as a place where only the strong survived, and he was determined to be one of them. Using his incredible intellect and scientific knowledge, Peter began to create weapons and gadgets to help him in his life of crime. When a radioactive spider bit him, Peter's life took a dark turn. Instead of using his powers to help people, he began to use them to commit even more heinous crimes. He became Dark Spider-Man, a symbol of fear and terror to the people of New York City. Dark Spider-Man's appearance is intimidating, with a black and red suit that's adorned with spikes and other deadly weapons. His eyes are now a sinister shade of red, and his spider symbol is twisted into a snarling beast. He moves with the same speed and agility as the original Spider-Man, but with a brutal and merciless approach to combat. Unlike the original Spider-Man, Dark Spider-Man has no qualms about hurting innocent people to get what he wants. He's a ruthless criminal who will stop at nothing to achieve his goals, even if it means killing anyone who gets in his way. The police and the criminal underworld fear him, and his reputation as a killer has made him one of the most dangerous villains in the Marvel Universe. Despite his evil nature, Dark Spider-Man still has a tragic backstory that makes him a compelling character. He's a victim of his environment and struggles with the weight of his actions. He's constantly torn between his desire for power and his guilt over the terrible things he's done. Dark Spider-Man has crossed paths with many heroes in the Marvel Universe, including the Avengers and the X-Men. He's also faced off against his arch-nemesis, the original Spider-Man, who he sees as a weak and cowardly version of himself. Their battles are always intense and brutal, with Dark Spider-Man using his superior strength and intellect to gain the upper hand. Number 1. The Spider. Finally, it is the Spider, a different kind of spider in an alternate universe, bit Peter Parker. Instead of gaining the powers of a spider, he became a spider-like creature known only as the Spider. And with these new powers came a new, terrifying persona that would strike fear into the hearts of anyone who dared cross his path. The Spider is a menacing figure, with 8 spider legs sprouting from his back and a vicious set of fangs that drip with venom. He's covered head to toe in a black and red exoskeleton, making him nearly impervious to harm. His glowing yellow eyes strike fear into anyone who meets his gaze. Unlike other versions of Spider-Man, the Spider is not motivated by justice or heroism. He's a purely self-serving creature, using his powers to hunt down and eliminate anyone who gets in his way. He's a predator, stalking his prey with a deadly efficiency that's impossible to escape. The Spider operates outside of the law, taking what he wants and leaving destruction in his wake. He's a master of stealth and infiltration, often slipping into places unnoticed to get what he wants. He's also a skilled fighter, using his spider-like abilities to overpower even the toughest opponents. Despite his ruthless nature, some are drawn to the Spider's power. He's a force to be reckoned with, and many villains are eager to join forces with him to take down their enemies. But even those who work with him know that the Spider is not to be trusted. He's just as likely to turn on his allies as he is to turn on his enemies. And there you have it, folks, the top evil versions of Spider-Man. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.